Hi there, Emily Farber with Lepic Kreger Realtors in Iowa City, Iowa. Thanks for joining me. Today is a great day in the beautiful city of Iowa City, and maybe you're thinking about purchasing a property. You've been looking around. There's a lot of different potential yards out there, different locations, and you might be thinking a little bit about water. Is there something that looks like this in your backyard? And you're afraid it's going to look like this? Flood certification is an essential part of all mortgage lending. A flood zone determination is required for all mortgage lending. The Federal Disaster Protection Act of 1973 and the Flood Insurance Reform Act of 1994 mandate that lenders determine the need for flood insurance by identifying potential mortgaged properties on federal flood maps and ensure that coverage is kept in force during the life of the loan. The following codes indicate geographic areas designated on FEMA flood maps that reflect flood risk and in which mandatory flood insurance will apply. These zones are not considered special flood hazard areas, and mandatory flood insurance does not apply. Keep in mind that flood zones change and properties do get remapped, so it is possible for your property's flood zone designation to change. You may not even know about it until you attempt to do something like refinance a mortgage, in which case that flood certification will need to be pulled. So how can you find out about a property's potential flood risk according to FEMA? I'll show you. I'm going to do a screencast of my computer and walk you through the process. I'm also going to drop a link down below where you can check it out for yourself. Alrighty, so let's pretend you have identified a property that you are interested in, but you want to know a bit more about where that property lies on the FEMA flood map before you even get to the point of getting your heart set on anything, writing an offer, or investing any money in inspections, because a flooded house is a deal breaker to you. So how do you do that research? Go to a search engine and type in FEMA flood map. Pull up the governmental website, and at the top you're going to see a search bar. Type in the address that you're focusing on. And here I am picking on Normandy Drive in Iowa City because Normandy does run along the river, and I know that that neighborhood is going to have some flood zone overlays, just for demonstration purposes. So when we look at the map here, you see this striped thing. This is the Iowa River. It is by default going to flood, and the area around it does have some colored overlays. If we zoom in a little bit, this pin is indicating the address of the property that we're focusing on, and you can see that it falls within this turquoise area. Turquoise area is zone AE, which is in a flood zone that would require mandatory flood insurance by a mortgage lender. Let's take a peek at another area. So I'm just pulling up a general street here in the middle of Iowa City. Here we are on Potomac Drive, and I don't see much. I'm going to zoom out a little to get a better look. And you can see that there are no overlays in this area. This is Zone X, an area of minimal flood hazard. Now, keep in mind, just because a mortgage lender may not require flood insurance, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should totally dismiss it. You should have a conversation with your insurance provider about risk, because 1 out of 4 flood claims are from areas that are not in a floodplain. So you need to decide, with the advice of an insurance professional, if you might still want flood insurance. So zooming out a little bit further, we can see that there is an area not too terribly far away that does have some colored overlays. This particular area here has a dotted blue line, which says it is the south branch of Ralston Creek. And you can see that there are quite a few houses in various neighborhoods that fall within this flood zone. Again, this is flood zone AE, which would require mandatory flood insurance by a mortgage lender. And that is how you do your own research about flood zones. Hey, thanks for joining me. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you have, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment down below, and consider watching some of my other videos. I put out videos every Friday all about Iowa City and real estate information that I think you may find helpful. I'll catch you next time.